Hi everyone, this is Adam. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the extensive list of improvements and features you can expect in ACDSee Ultimate 2021, ACDSee Professional 2021, and ACDSee Home 2021. I'll be showcasing the features using ACDSee Ultimate. The blue icon at the bottom right is going to indicate that this feature is available in Ultimate. The red icon will indicate for Pro, and then the yellow indicates for Home. Because this edition contains a huge amount of improvements and features, this video will be a bit longer than our usual promo and tutorial content. I will timestamp each section so you can skip ahead to the feature of your choosing in the description below. Without further ado, let's begin, and a good place to begin is the performance improvements in ACDSee 2021. So this edition has 100% faster startup performance, 50% faster mode switching, 100% faster performance while working with keywords and categories, 20% faster raw decoding, 40 times faster database maintenance loading, and significantly improved HEEC decoding. The new color EQ. Navigating to edit mode filters, you'll see that color EQ and color balance are now combined in 2021. Color EQ is the top section here, and color balance is now represented by these global adjustments at the bottom. Additionally, we've added a new slider, Color Shift. The Color Shift slider changes the hue, but unlike the hue slider, it attempts to maintain the brightness of the original pixel. Some colors, for example like yellow, are brighter to the human eye than blue. Color Shift accommodates for these discrepancies where hue does not. The new color pickers. Navigating to the top toolbar in edit mode, you'll find the color picker. The color picker has new UI and adjusted sensitivity. It's much easier to make accurate color selections. While the color picker is not new to 2021, the inclusion of it in adjustment layers and filters is new. This has been heavily requested by our user base. For example, I'll open Color EQ from the adjustment layer panel, and you can see that the eyedropper icon is here. When turned on, this allows us to pick a color on our image and increase saturation by dragging that pixel value up or down on the image preview. Let's select the yellow on this car here and see what happens when we drag this selection up or down. The UI indicates exactly the color with its appropriate RGB values that are going to be adjusted. Other adjustment layers that are affected are levels and gradient map, anywhere where you see this eyedropper icon. Also affected by the color picker slider function is pixel targeting. Let's open a filter to give an example. With a filter active, like exposure for example, you can now target specific tones or colors by using the color picker. Simply click on its icon to the right of the respective section you wish to pixel target. Here I'll lower the exposure, increase the contrast, and use the tone picker to select the midtones on the street. As you can see, the midtone slider and the highlights are lowered according to their prevalence on our image. Refine Edge. So just to illustrate Refine Edge, let's make a selection using the wand tool of our skateboarder here. If I wanted to smart erase the subject by navigating to Smart Erase from the selection pane, you'll notice that it leaves a large artifact where our skateboarder was. Now with Refine Edge, for example, I can take my selection, navigate to Refine Edge, adding both space and feathering so that my selection has a buffer margin. When I run the Smart Erase function again, the process is entirely seamless, leaving no artifacts and blending the sky in our image perfectly. Refine Edge works within all selection methods. Color wheels. Brand new to ACDSee is the color wheel. I'll open the color wheel from the filter panel, and let's have a look at our image. We can use the color picker to hone in on a specific color or range of colors, and then adjust those colors using the adjustment sliders beneath the color wheel. I'm going to use the color picker over top of our image preview here to move the color wheel into the red spectrum. As you can see, the color wheel moves as I hover over red parts of our image. By lifting the radius markers here, I can choose to include more colors. As I move these, you will notice that our image becomes grayscale to illustrate which part of our images are these colors. I can use this center marker here to spin the current selected range of colors. Let's specify just red, removing orange and pink from our color range. We can also pull the center of the radius inwards to only capture highly saturated colors. The same is true for pulling the saturation bar downwards from the perimeter of our color wheel. When we have our selection, we can adjust some values. Let's increase the saturation and contrast. Alternatively, we can also change the hue to show how well we've captured this color spectrum. If I want to change the colors of everything but the monk's robes, for example, we can invert this selection by clicking the Invert button. While in the color wheel, we can add up to 10 additional wheels to change other elements. I'll add a second wheel and adjust the saturation and hue of the blue in the forest. Color wheel also works with pixel targeting and brush controls to further refine your image. Tone wheels. Also brand new to ACDSee is tone wheels. This tool is like a much more in-depth replacement for split toning. Each wheel represents a spectrum of tone, highlights, midtones, and shadows. As you can see with our tone wheels here, we can supplant our highlights with a specific range of color, saturation, and brightness. If I wanted to make the sky in my image red, I could move the highlight slider to the red spectrum and then increase the saturation and brightness to my desired amount. Let's also change the shadows in this image to a purple color and lower the saturation. You can see that I don't need to increase the saturation bar itself as I have control over the color's saturation depending on how far it is away from the center of the tone wheel here. I can then darken or tweak saturation accordingly. And I can always start by using the color picker to set a tone replacement for the corresponding tone wheel. Like color wheels, these tools work alongside pixel targeting and brush control for further refinement. Batch rename. Batch rename has been completely overhauled in ACDSee 2021, and I'm happy to say that this is an incredibly powerful tool now. In my folder here, I have selected a group of images and navigated to Batch rename. I'm going to create a preset that illustrates the power of this tool. On the left, we have an order of operations list, starting with template, then search and replace, case change, insert text, remove text, and strip spaces. We'll go through each individually and show you how they work. One thing to note before we begin is that this order of operations is top to bottom, meaning that the template is the first operation and strip spaces is the last operation. I'm going to start my template by adding my name. I'm then going to add some metadata to this template. Let's say the make and model of my camera, for example. You'll notice on the right is a preview of what my naming convention will look like. I only have 12 images in this folder, so I'm going to reduce the number of number symbols in my naming convention. Cool. Let's go to the next option, which is search and replace. Again, this function occurs once the template operation has finished. I'm going to search for ILCE and replace it with the word DSLR. I'm then going to go to case change, and we're going to change it to title case. You'll notice that everything after my first initial is made lowercase, and this is because we lack spaces between my name and the make and model. So we're going to go back to the template field and then add in the spaces. As you can see, my text is now properly titled after I've added the spaces. I'll make my extension lowercase and move on to insert text. I'm going to insert an image attribute by clicking Insert Metadata. Let's add the image dimension. I'm going to have this image dimension added after position 21. I'm also going to add a space to the beginning of this inserted text to separate it from the other title functions. I'm not going to remove any text in this file name, but let's say if I wanted to remove DSLR from this name, I could do that by indicating the starting position and removing up to the hyphen as my delimiter. You'll see that my position ended up being 13. Again, I'm not going to use remove text though, so I'll just uncheck it from the order list. I will, however, strip all my spaces and replace them with an underscore. I can add more renaming functions to my order list by clicking the plus button at the bottom left. You can also change the order using the down and up arrows. Lastly, I will save this preset. I'm going to name it Personal 02. With this preset saved, let's run this batch rename on our images. And just like that, all of our images have a custom batch rename. Batch Resize. Similar to batch rename is the new and improved batch resize. Batch resize allows you to save a resize preset based on one of 5 criteria. On the left, we have those criteria. We can resize based on the pixels, percentage of the original size image, a print size, which allows you to better control the DPI of your image. You can also resize based on the long or short edge of your image, and it will reduce or enlarge the image based on maintaining that aspect ratio. Once we have values we like, we can save a preset based on these values. For example, I'm going to save a preset based on 75% of the size of our original image. I can then run that on my other images like this. Watermark and crop tools. Enable relative positioning within cropping to have better control over your presets. Position your crop from a specific pixel or percentage value, and which direction the position should be applied. Here I have, from the left, 20% and 25% from the top. Additionally, in Watermark, you now have control over the anchor point of your watermark and the pixels away from the anchor of your choosing. These tools enable you to make much better presets and actions as they accommodate for the difference of aspect ratio in your image by mathematically averaging their relative location. Develop Mode Right-Hand Pane. The Develop Preset and Snapshot pane has been moved to better illustrate their functionality in Develop Mode. Let's use the color wheel to select our subject's dress and then change the hue. With that active development, we can add a snapshot using this right side pane. This allows us to refer to this development at any point within our image editing process. I'll title this snapshot Orange. If I decide to make future edits, I can double-click the snapshot to revert to those saved development settings. I can also use the history panel to revert to prior changes. Here I'll click my color wheel hue change to go back one step in my history. Also moved onto this right-hand panel is the Preset Manager. This is an incredibly powerful tool that allows you to save developments and then replay them on hundreds of images in the click of a button. Let's say I like this red to orange snapshot that I've created already. I'll navigate to my development presets and I'm going to add a new category. I'll make a category called Color Adjustments. In Color Adjustments, I'll save these development settings. I can do so by right-clicking the category of my choice, or by clicking on the plus button at the bottom. An options box pops up, and I will unselect everything but the color wheel development, which contains my changes, and then I'm going to save this as red to orange. I can run this preset on other images, or I can run this as a batch development in Manage mode. The new text box tool. New to ACDSee Ultimate is the text frame tool, which allows you to create text that occupies a set field. I'll add a text layer to this image, navigating to the top menu bar, and change the control structure from dynamic to frame using this dropdown. Now I can alter the frame size to create a nicer looking paragraph structure. As I type, my text might disappear if it exceeds the limit of the box. That's okay, I can expand the box at any point. Text layers are non-destructive. Text on a path tool. I can also take this text, navigating once again to the control structure dropdown, and select path. The path has 3 yellow dots that we can move. You can move these dots to anywhere on your image. We can also left-click the path to add a new path control point, and right-click on the path to delete them. Import Picasa and Lightroom face data. In Manage mode, you can navigate to Tools and Database to import Lightroom and Picasa face data to your catalog. You can also add Picasa and Lightroom face data from View mode by navigating to Tools, Face Detection, and Import at the bottom of the drop-down right here. Quick Search Improvement. Quick Search has a valuable addition in the form of this new toggle button. So when we make a search through our entire database for animal, we receive a very large list. We can turn on this toggle button to then search just for animals that have a keyword or a category of bird, for example, from within this group. We can then specify further by searching for penguin, and you'll see that our list is refined from the previous bird search. This is a fast way of finding images with specific metadata, but that also happen to exist within larger groups or search terms. Mobile sync improvements. You can right-click your version of ACDSee 2021 from the hidden icon panel that exists on the far right-hand Windows menu bar, and use Connect ACDSee Mobile Sync. This button allows you to use a QR code to quickly set up your mobile sync using your phone. That represents the bulk of the improvements in 2021. There will be a couple other smaller improvements and features, and they will be featured on the individual product pages when they come out. Stay tuned for more tutorial content as we approach the release date, and always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to be notified when we upload new videos. Take care.